We say our future is unwritten, but what if it is already being drafted, and not by us, but by the algorithm? In 2017, a hurricane hit the United States called Hurricane Irma. People panicked, people fled, and people searched the internet for information. The internet became flooded with lots of news articles broadcasting over the hurricane, and one of these images showed a video of a bus being toppled over by the wind. However, when journalists traced it back to the original source, it turned out the video was actually from the 2016 Cyclone Verda in India, not the US. The CAN reported that one Irma live stream reached over 6 million views and 160,000 shares on Facebook. And one commentator even wrote, "Blessings to everyone there." Except, the stream was not even real. It was a 3-minute video played on loop taken 9 months prior to the hurricane. And yet, almost everyone who saw it believed it. Every scroll, every share, and every like feeds data into our systems that dictate what we're going to eat next, buy next, and most importantly, what we are going to believe next. Today, I want to talk about how the media, especially social media, shapes our perception of truth, and how media literacy is the tool that lets us reclaim autonomy of our own futures. Because without realizing it, many of us begin to believe what we read online, letting the algorithm write the story for us. Social media has been a growing phenomenon for the past years. I'm sure almost everyone in this room has a social media app downloaded on their phone, whether it is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or either one of the newer ones, such as TikTok. I know I have all of these apps downloaded, and I check them multiple times a day for news, for friends, or just simply because I am bored. In fact, a recent study by the CQ magazine shows that the global average screen time amounts to 2 hours and 40 minutes a day. And media literacy specialist from the University of Illinois, Dr. Joseph Zompetti, states that about 80% of people aged 18 to 24 receive all of their information from social media. This means most of us are getting information from platforms designed to inform us, not to inform us, but to keep us scrolling. We scroll faster, think shorter, and question less. And slowly, without realizing it, we start believing things not because they're true, but because they feel like they are true. However, sometimes this can have serious consequences. For example, the Pizzagate in 2016. The BBC reports an example. A conspiracy theory claimed that a Washington pizza shop was part of a child trafficking ring involving the Democratic Party. Thousands of people believed it, until one man showed up with a rifle to rescue the children. Spoiler alert, there were no children and there was no basement. Just a lie, amplified by algorithms and shared by people who stopped questioning. So, why does this happen? What makes us this gullible? Part of the answer lies in how social media is built. Social media and news platforms run on algorithms, systems designed to keep us engaged for as long as possible. They are designed this way because it is intended for companies to make a profit. And they are often masked as the For You page or the feed. The algorithm saves data about us, depending on what posts we like, share, or even just on how long we stay on a post. From this, it learns how to hold user attentions with hyper-personalized content. However, this is not always bad. For example, a bodybuilder may have a better time on social media looking at gym-related content versus plain facts. That might be more suitable for a pilot. But The algorithm may also be dangerous and create many unintentional consequences because it aligns perfectly with our confirmation bias. The confirmation bias is the tendency to interpret, favor, and remember information in a way that confirms or supports our pre-existing beliefs while ignoring or downplaying evidence that contradicts them. Thus, these systems create echo chambers by personalizing content that aligns with our pre-existing beliefs, reinforcing them, and limiting exposure to other perspectives. And realistically, if we are only constantly being fed information that we already believe, we're going to stop questioning it. On top of that, we may fall vulnerable to another psychological trap exploited by the algorithm called the mere exposure effect. This effect states that the more often we view or we see a piece of information, the more likely we are to believe it. A recent study by Guy Grinberg, a PhD researcher at Tel Aviv University, tested this with images. He gave a group of participants a sample of real images and ones made with AI. Later, these participants were shown the same pictures alongside new ones and had to decide which one of these were real. The results showed that the images that they had seen before, even if they were fake and made with AI, were rated as significantly more credible than the images shown for the first time. When the participants were asked to judge the images were real or fake, in the real world, an MIT study found that fake news is 80% more likely to be retweeted than real news, meaning that, according to the mere exposure effect, if we are often being shown misinformation rather than real information, we are more likely to trust it. Thus, algorithms keep us entertained, but they can also trap us, nudging us to believe information simply because it's familiar or perfectly tailored to our pre-existing beliefs. So, how can we filter out information in order to make us less gullible, but more critical? One powerful answer is media literacy, learning how to question what is real and what is fake. But what is media literacy? Dr. Russell Ortega Milligan, a communication instructor at Southern New Hampshire University, defines media literacy as our ability to interpret, engage with various media types, visual images, audio messages, and digital content, including social media platforms. She explains that the impact of becoming more media literate, not only as an individual, but as a society, is that we're less likely to fall into stereotypes, generalizations, and prejudice, and we are more likely to move towards open-mindedness and the truth. One of the simplest tools to build media literacy is seen through the SIFT method. The 4-step technique is designed for stopping information, and it is easy to teach at schools, apply, and most importantly, it is effective. According to BBC journalist Amanda Ruggieri, the SIFT method stands for stop, investigate, find other sources, and trace information back to its original claim. So, firstly, stop. Before you like, share, comment, take a second to breathe and pause. Research conducted by psychologist Penny Hook in 2015 shows that relying on our immediate gut feeling is more likely to mislead us rather than taking a second to reflect. So the first step of the SIFT method stops this tendency. Secondly, investigate the source. Who posted this? If it was posted by a content creator, they might be exaggerating their facts in order to promote views and gain engagement on their accounts. If it was posted by a media outlet, they might be politically engaged and are trying to force a political view. If it was posted by a business, the business might be posting this information in order to promote their product and exaggerate facts. Next, find other sources. If other sources are not reporting on the same thing, most likely it will not be true. It is important to find credible sources such as The Economist, The Guardian, or even looking on more credible places such as JSTOR in order to prove that the information that we find is true. And lastly, trace back to the original source. Go back to the original study, video, or quote. Was the study done properly? Are there citations? Was the video clipped or edited in order to make us believe a certain Oftentimes, looking back at the original footage allows us to put the situation into context. So now, let's practice sifting together. Imagine it is 2017 and you are scrolling on the internet and you suddenly see this headline. Cucumbers are a natural food cure for memory loss. So, the article claims that cucumbers are a natural cure for memory loss and that it could potentially protect people from Alzheimer's and dementia. Let's apply our first step of the SIFT method. Stop. Does this sound too good to be true? Yes, it does. It is promising a miracle cure using a common food. The first 4 tags read alternative medicine, Alzheimer's disease, cucumber, and dementia. Does this trigger emotion? Yes, it does. Alzheimer triggers fear. And the word cure give hope and excitement for an easy way to cure this disease. Based on all of this, it is time to stop before we share. I. Investigate the source. The information is originating from a source called Natural News. Now, when doing a quick Google search, the first thing that comes up is that media literacy experts identified the source as a purveyor of fake news, conspiracy theories, pseudoscience, and misleading medical advice. It has even been banned for Facebook for spreading repeated fake health information on vaccines, and on a website it was even voted first place for most unreliable websites on science. F. Find other sources. So when I put into a simple Google search, does cucumbers cure memory loss? I was not able to find a single other source that reported on the same thing, let alone a credible source. And T. Trace back to the original context. The study was in fact conducted by the Salk Institute for Biological Studies and published in 2014. In this study, it was found that a compound called fisetin, which is found in strawberries, apples, and cucumbers, improved memory in mice which were predisposed to Alzheimer-like symptoms. The study was conducted using highly concentrated fisetin supplements and not actual real cucumbers. The doses was much larger than what would even be possibly humanly possible to consume through cucumbers. However, while fisetin may improve Alzheimer's in mice, no research has proved that fisetin prevents Alzheimer's in people. So, just in 2 minutes, we were able to debunk this misleading headline. That's how easy it is using SIFT. SIFT allows us to see what is real and what is fake and to make better choices. Our future is not supposed to be written by the algorithm. It is supposed to be written by us. So, next time you see a headline, a TikTok, or a post that makes you feel outraged, ecstatic, or afraid, before you share it, I'm asking you to do one thing. Use SIFT. In the long term, that simple pause can prevent us from falling into the traps of social media trends, or even in extreme cases, prevent us from contributing to any real-world harm. We must take back the pen, because our future is not meant to be written by the algorithm, but by us. Thank you.